This video is a little different. It's not about vintage radios, test equipment, or retro computing. Rather, it's about a book project I recently completed. I was part of a middle-class Canadian family of 5 living in the Greater Toronto area of Ontario, Canada. Both my parents were teachers. Around 1969, my father had the opportunity to take a job in India, and the entire family ended up moving and living there for 2 years from 1970 to 1972. The 1960s had just ended, and it was a time of rapid social change, interest in other cultures, and a desire to improve the world. Canada had developed a nuclear power technology that it was exporting to other countries. An agreement was reached with the Indian government to have Canada assist in constructing nuclear power generating plants in India, providing much-needed electrical power to developing areas of the country. Building nuclear power stations is a long and complex process, and you can imagine the additional challenges of replicating Canadian-designed generating stations in India. The goal of the Rajasthan Atomic Power Project was to build several reactors in the northwestern Indian state of Rajasthan, near the city of Kota, adjacent to the village, now a city, of Rawatbada. To assist in construction of the facility, Canada sent several dozen Canadian engineers and technicians and their families to live and work on the site. This involved building a small community with suitable homes, recreation facilities, and a school for the Canadian children. My father was hired as the head teacher, one of 2 full-time teachers, for the school for the Canadian children. We spent 2 years living there, during which time we did considerable traveling in our Volkswagen camping van, as well as by train, airplane, ship, horseback, and motorcycle. We visited over a dozen cities, ranging from the highly populated Bombay, now Mumbai, capital of Delhi, and to remote parts of Kashmir in the Himalayan mountains. India was still quite a remote and exotic location for Westerners, and our only communication with relatives back in Canada was by postal mail. My parents sent regular letters back home reporting on our experiences and adventures. We even sent back photographs, color slides, and 8mm movie films. My relatives faithfully kept all of the letters that we sent and recently returned them to us. 50 years later, the typed and handwritten letters on thin airmail paper are still in surprisingly good condition. A lot of effort went into writing these regular newsletters, and I realized that these stories might be of interest to more than just my children and grandchildren. So I undertook a project to enter all of the letters in book form. I added additional background material on my family and the power project, pictures taken at the time, and a postscript of our lives after returning to Canada. The result is a book about 180 pages in length. The book, Letters from India, The Chronicles of a Canadian Family Living in India from 1970 to 1972, is available directly from lulu.com for slightly under US $20 or the equivalent in other currency. It can also be found on Amazon, Ingram, and other distributors. It uses a print-on-demand service which prints and ships the book locally in many countries around the world. The book was done as a labor of love for friends and family, but I hope others will find it interesting as well. It provides a unique glimpse into a time when few North Americans were living in or traveling around India.